Can I be both a Democrat and a Republican at the same time? Does it sound contradicting? Well, I think that it's interesting because when I look deeper, I believe we can rise above the labels that we put on ourselves and then look deeper into the issues that we care about and the things that really matters in our lives. Because oftentimes I think when we put restrictions or labels on ourselves, we forgot about those important values that actually really matters. Values that we care about, such as love and freedom or common prosperity. Those are the things that we really should be care more about than simply a label or an identity such as being a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal. And furthermore, I think in terms of values, it also depends on our own interpretation. For example, let's say freedom. One side may think that freedom simply means less government rules. But to another person, freedom may mean having an dependable access to universal healthcare without falling into debt. Same word, freedom, but defined differently and understandably by two different people. Don't you think so? And this is exactly what I want to explore with you today. So I want to read um, by definition the essence or the core principle of Democrat and Republican. Okay. So according to this democratic principle, we should use collective effort and government support to promote equality and protect the vulnerable. And for Republican, the essence of the Republicans' principle is we should protect individual freedom and limit government so people can succeed through personal responsibility. Hey, I mean, when you read these two core principles, you would think that, at least to me, I think they are highly valued. I mean, it makes sense. And they do not naturally conflict. That's the point. I don't think they are created to conflict with each other, to contradict with each other, or oppose each other. I don't think that's true. And, and in fact, I think both are trying to promote a collective growth in our population, in our society. They actually should be complementary to each other. So what happens? I mean, they're supposed to be complementary with each other, but do we see that happening in our society today? I want to use the universal healthcare benefit as an example to connect the idea that if I am a Republican or if I am a Democrat or any party, I still can support, isn't it? Because based on the core principles of a Democrat or a Republican, this is something that we should support. It's a basic right, it's a basic need. I remember when I came to the US almost 30 years ago, vividly, an image of Bill Clinton, the president at that time, was talking about universal healthcare. Fast forward, over 30 years, I think we're still talking about it. And families can still go bankrupt just because they got sick. And when we really think deeper and reflect on that, does it make sense? I know it's a lot more complex, okay? But if something that we all can rally behind, I know we can find the solution. And I believe what prevent us is we cling on our identity, or what I was talking about, the collective ego, that we belong to one side. So when we propose something, let's say a Democrat propose something or a Republican propose something, the other side always, or majority of the time, oppose, and that makes it so difficult or almost impossible to push through something that makes a lot of sense for all, isn't it? Isn't it right? So I think if we can redefine progress with an idea called the collective evolution, and something has to shift, right? So if we stop clinging to labels and start focusing on outcomes and progress, perhaps we might be able to redefine what it means to succeed as a country and set as an example, for everyone else. Okay, and we can move forward together, um, because I think this is something so basic, right? So we really need to think about that. And I know there's so many, it's like I said, so complex, because some industries may feel threatened, such as the insurance company, private hospital, pharmaceuticals. Uh, it is understandable that these industries can feel threatened, but I think it's always about how we define success, because the problem may not be just like healthcare itself. It is just one example. For example, if we don't see profit as the end goal, but instead we see something like, I think this is a good question to ask ourselves. What if a healthier population leads to a more inspired, creative, and evolved society? One where people thrive beyond survival, beyond just making a living. So if we define our collective success not purely by how much money we make, but instead, if as a society, as we share our aspiration and how we can teach our future generation and our current generation that, hey, success is not purely about how much money you make or what kind of status you have, but instead, if we gauge our success, if we measure our success and set a benchmark that collective health as a population is a measurement of our success, then maybe we'll perform very differently. And perhaps if we can reimagine, if we have a much healthier population, how much potential that will be, how much more we aspire to do the things that we're set out to do to fulfill our potential, isn't it? And that's something that both parties, a Republican and Democrat, can rally behind. But if we take a step back, what's preventing us is really, are we really clinging on to a label that is very unnecessary? And this is exactly why, and what we're promoting in Hello Kindness in our channel, is to promote and spread the benefits of mindfulness with meditation, because I think with the rise of our consciousness and awareness, we can see through all these things that we're clinging on and that is pulling us back. Okay, so as a closing, I invite you to reflect on this. What values matter to you underneath the label? If we can set aside the labels that we put on ourselves, for example, a Democrat or Republican, what do you really care? Is there really a big difference? And what could we create if we dare to listen to both sides, not to agree on everything, but to grow together? So those are the two questions I want you to reflect on. And thank you very much for your time.